Everybody, welcome back to another installment of Evil Ted Talks. Today I'm going to cover tools of the trade that you're going to need when making foam fabrication. Also, additional tips and techniques that I've developed over the years of building stuff and making things I'd like to share with you guys. And also, I'm going to cover frequently asked questions, which I get a lot, and I find some repeating themselves over and over again. So I'll try to cover that on the video as well. But right now, let's get started with tools of the trade. When making a costume, safety is the key, so when grinding, make sure you have your particle mask on, and to protect your eyes, safety goggles, and when you're using glue, disposable latex gloves. Good old knife, box cutter. I called it a telescoping mat knife, I apologize, it's actually a box cutter. Good to have, it's great for cutting foam, big wide blade. Also your standard X-ACTO blade, which you can buy these at the craft stores and hobby shops. Good to have. Also, what I like to add to the list is a sharpener. This is from Crenshaw, makes these. I have a link below the video, and what I like to do, get some good old WD-40, and you lube the blade up a little bit, get it a little wet, and you take your knife, and after a couple of cuts, foam dulls a blade rather quickly, and you just go back like this, a slight 45 back and forth, and you are ready to cut foam like so. Whoop. Okay, for markings, I like to have there's a Sharpie pen, the fine tip Sharpie, standard black Sharpies, and also a silver Sharpie, because sometimes when you're doing craft foam, it's black, and you can't really see black on black, so I like to use a silver Sharpie. Also, a good metal straight edge, because I've always found when you're cutting foam and stuff, metal straight edge is better. There's plastic blades out there, but sometimes the knife will get caught, but it's a good metal straight edge. Also, fabric measuring tape. This really good comes in handy for measuring around arms and getting dimensions and foam and stuff. But good to have it. And you can find this at fabric stores and clothing stores. Also, pre-made plastic templates, which is great. You have various circles, shapes, and sizes when you're making your patterns and designs. This comes in really handy. And a good old trusty triangle for squaring things up and making patterns. It's good to have. Okay, for shaping foam, I like to use the torch, propane torch. It's good for getting rid of all the fuzzies and stuff after sanding and whatnot. But I know this can be a little intimidating and scary to work with. So if you don't have to use a torch, I particularly like it. For me, it's very quickly, works fast. But you're also going to stick with the good old trusty heat gun. This comes in really handy for. You also too, when you do sanding on the edges and whatnot, you can go to a finer grit sandpaper and soften your edges with a heat gun. And a lot of people ask me, is there an alternative to the heat gun? Can I use a hair dryer? The hair dryer will make the foam maybe softer or warmer, but it won't nearly do the results as a heat gun. So I'm just telling you guys out there, break down and buy yourself a heat gun. This will come in very handy. Also, with shaping foam, I like to use sanding sticks. And what I have here, I have 80. I got my 120, my 320. You actually can actually go up to 400 grit sandpaper to get the edge really fine, but for heating. But how you can use sanding sticks, I made myself. And how I go about doing that is I go out and get a paint stir stick like I have right here. I just get sandpaper, as so, and I get the spray. I get Super 77 spray glue, and you spray that on your sanding stick, spray on your sandpaper, let it dry, apply, cut, and you're good to go. This is really good to have in your arsenal of foam fabricating, making your sanding sticks. As a matter of fact, in this video I will show you how I go about using this in making costumes. Also, my tool supplies is various sizes of brass tubing I have right here. And you can find this at hobby stores. Most hobby shops have this. What I like to do, take the tube and take an X-ACTO blade, and you can cut the edge, bevel the edges with X-ACTO blade, make it nice and sharp, take a piece of foam, like so. A little bit of pressure, twist back and forth when you're cutting. What this does, it'll make a perfect round hole for added detail to your costume, like so. And also, the result too is you have a little plug you can take out. There you go. And this can be added later as detail as well, like a giant rivet or whatnot. But I like to say, love it, comes in handy. There's various sizes of brass tube. Also, addition to my foam fabricating arsenal is the wood burner. I got this at Lowe's. It's really cool. It has various bits, as I can show you right here. When you buy it, all different bits you can find, and actually I love the pointed bit on this. And I will give you a demonstration of that in a moment. Now let's talk glues. People always ask me what adhesion do I use the most. That is Barge Cement. I use Barge for all foam fabricating. Now, if you can't find this stuff in your area, although this is the greatest stuff I like to use, there is also, at most hardware stores, is Weldwood contact cement. As you can see, you can actually get this in the same size can. I just couldn't find any today, but this is actually in a small bottle. But the company is Weldwood. They make contact adhesive, and it's great. They make a water-soluble version of it that's not as good. So when you're getting it, get the deadly flammable stuff. This is the best stuff. Weldwood contact cement. And if you can't find either one of those, another one I recommend is 3M's Fast Tack Trim Adhesive. And this stuff is great. They use this for weather stripping and laying things down. But they're not joking when they say fast tack. It dries really quick. Normally I wait about 5 minutes with Barge. But this stuff, it dries within like 2 or 3 minutes. It's really fast. Or even less than that. You just put it on really thin both ply areas and stick it together. But also, when you use glue in a large level, you guys can also get a cup, and use a chip brush to apply the glue. But I found really easy for me is my glue pot. This has the glue and a brush all built into it. You grab it, ready to go, no fuss, no muss. It doesn't get on your hands, and it's a great thing to have. They're about $30, and you can get this at McMaster Card. I have a link below the video to get these. But if you like to use glue in a large abundance, and it's just good to have a glue pot. Makes life a lot simpler. Okay, sealing your foam pieces. Well, of course, I like to use balloon rubber latex, but I don't brush it on. I use a critter gun, which you fill with latex, and you can pigment and spray through a nozzle, and it works great. And also, but the thing is, you need a critter gun, and you also need a compressor for this. And I'm getting a lot of people writing to me saying, Ted, what if I'm allergic to latex and there's a latex allergy involved? There are other alternatives to coating your foam, and probably not near as expensive. But you have the good old-fashioned, I love this plastic dip, and you can find this in most hardware stores. You definitely want to heat seal your foam first with a heat gun and spray this stuff on. This works great. And if you can't find this, there's a version of it Rust-Oleum makes called Flex Dip, which is good, but actually I find plastic dip kind of sprays a lot easier and cleaner. But then my buddy Bill Duran of Punish Props taught me about this one. This is a Modge Podge, which works good. But with applying this stuff, guys, you want to use a brush or one of these foam applicators. You can brush this stuff on, but you can also minimize your brush strokes by using a sponge. But you're going to have to do like 3 or 4 coats, but this still goes in the foam really well. And also, this good old-fashioned wood glue. You can do the same technique with this, a sponge applicator, and brush it on as well. But these are alternatives to putting on foam if you're allergic to latex. Okay, now I'd like to demonstrate the wood burner. I have this guy plugged in. He's already hot and ready to go. And for example, if you want to do a pattern on your foam, what I would recommend, get your good old metal straight edge. Let's just say we take a Sharpie. It's always find good to plot your lines out first. Let's say we'll do this and have it come down like that. See? So there's our Sharpie line. That's our design we're going to be. So we're going to burn that in. So we'll take the metal straight edge like so. You take the wood burner, which I have the sharp tip on it right there, and go very slowly. And see with the Sharpie line, you can see where you want to stop. Flip it around. My edge. Right where I want it. Follow my Sharpie line. Alright, as you can see, now we have this cool recessed detail. Now, if you want to do more complex parts, you can go to a hardware store and you can get metal stock, shim stock. It's thin, and you can cut this with a pair of scissors with some metal shears. I, of course, made some patterns. I have a circle and a rectangle around on both ends. So I can take this guy like so, a metal ring. This will be my added detail. And this, once again, it's metal. And then you, of course, get your trusty push pins And I'll pin that for me so it won't move. But also, this is metal and has a tendency to get hot when you're putting the wood burner against it. So what I like to do is hold my metal stock on my shim piece with a piece of foam right there, and then trace the middle circle very slowly. There we go. Now, take the pin out. See, and there it is. Get your recess. And always, you can kind of gauge your speed when it's burning. That comes in really handy. Nice little trick to do detail. But be careful with this bad boy because it is hot. One of the frequently asked questions I get a lot is people see my armor that have nice round soft edges and they're like, how do you do that, Ted? Well, I do it with a sanding stick. So what I do before I do anything, this is actually a shoulder piece. You can see right here, like a shoulder piece armor. Before I heat it and put it together, I'll take this edge and knock it down first. And what I do, there's this stuff called Dragon Skin. You can find it at a hardware store. They sell this in the drywall department. It's got a lot of holes in it. This is a dense foam. This is the EVA floor mat foam. So I just kind of go through this really quickly. This takes the edge down really fast. Okay? You get the desired. Let me get it down. Just take off the corners really quick. And what I do is I use the table to keep it stable. So whatever I'm doing, it does it evenly. See? So just put it around the edge of the table. And since I like this edge, I want to do it, I'm going to make it round all the way around, so I flip it over and do the other side. Now that I've done that, I take my sanding stick, which is, 80 grit, and start sanding the edges. Alright, there we go. Now, so this is the 80, you see. Sand it down, now we jump to mixed grit, 120. There we go. Now I got that done. Jump up to 320. And do the same thing again all around the edge. I know what you're saying, this is really time consuming. This really gets a nice soft edge. Now once you're done with the 320, normally I would use a torch, but just to show people, you have your heat gun. I put it on high and I can soften the edge with that. There you go. Now, you can see the edge nice and soft with the heat gun. Now let this side free so I can hit it with the torch. So here you go. And there we go. There's our piece, our shoulder piece, with a nice round soft edge to it. Now to answer frequently asked questions, I get a lot. People always say, Ted, what is the white foam that you're using? That, I say, is L300. It comes in big sheets. Matter of fact, there's L300, L200, L100, and the numbers vary the density. The higher the number, the denser the foam is. And it's good foam, and I buy it here in California at a place called Foam Mart, and I can buy giant 4x8 sheets of it. The reason I was using it in the video because I have an abundance of it at the shop, but you don't have to use L200. You can do the same thing with EVA floor mat foam or the really thin fatigue mold. The really thin fatigue floor mat foam you can buy. It comes in rolls. It's great stuff, and you can buy the craft foams at Michael's and other craft stores, and that stuff is great to do. So I used to use it because I had it in the shop. It's a good foam, but you can still do the same thing with the EVA floor mat foams. Also, too, I get a lot of requests. Once people put helmets and costumes and armor together, sometimes there's gaps and seams, and I like to sand them. If there's any step or lip, you can sand them down with my sanding sticks, and you can heat it up to get rid of the fuzzies and all that stuff. But if there's gaps and holes, I like to use Kiwi Seal. It's made by a company right there, DAP. It's a caulking in a tube, and you just put it out on it with a finger, fill in the gap, and use a razor blade, wet it. The cool thing with Kiwi Seal is that usually I'm foam fabricating, and I'll get all done, and I'll fill in some gaps and holes, and latex over that, or tool dip over it. But if you've done all that, you're done with your costume, but it's easy to spot some more holes, you can still use it and paint over it. So there's other ways of coating, but it's a great way to seal in gaps and holes and whatnot. But also I want to cover these videos I'm doing on YouTube. I'm showing you techniques, and that's what you guys do with the technique is up to you. And I get a lot of people always say, "Hey Ted, I want to do this Power Ranger helmet and everything. How do I go about doing that?" Well, I showed you the technique of how I make helmets. It's what you do with it. It's the skill level and you to do it. And granted, I'll tell you right now, I've made plenty of things that didn't turn out the first time, and then you're like, oh wait, and then when you make it, you see what you could have done better, and you just remake it. When I was young, when I started off, everything you make, you always want it to come out perfect the first time, and that never happens. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. And even when I make stuff, sometimes I'll start building things, and halfway through, I'll realize, oh, maybe I could have done this better, or done this differently. And so, sometimes I'll just go back and just do it again, or learn from that. You build, you learn from your mistakes, but that's the way you get better at is the skill level. Well, I'm showing you guys the techniques, but I can't walk through you for each and every costume thing you guys want to do. I get tons of letters of people saying, hey, I want to make this, could you walk me through it? And I can't do it. I can show you the techniques, but the skill in you to make it happen is you. And you guys have it in you, trust me. Because I've been getting stuff sent to me on my Facebook page of people thanking me, and I am just speechless at the stuff people send in. It's like they didn't really grasp what I was showing them. They took off with it. You know, I did a helmet video. People just got the concept of that and ran off and made armor and like crazy helmets and stuff for that stuff. It's just wonderful. So that's why I keep doing it. So guys, thank you so much. That about wraps up the video. Thank you so much. I'm sorry there's a big delay between videos right now. I've been busy with work, and I'm working my next video right now. I know it's another helmet. I know people have been waiting for it. I'm going to have it up soon. I'm sorry it's been taking a while. Hang in there. But I'll be back. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I have all my supplies and links below. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because it makes it easier for me to contact you guys. And I'll catch you on next time, right here on the Untitled Chapter.